The foundation is in memory of Lieutenant Joseph P. DiBernardo. Joey was my best friend, and he was one of the people that just pushed me forward and made me want to be a New York City firefighter.
The purpose of the foundation is to provide every firefighter in America who can't afford his own personal safety system, we'll buy it for them.
It's extremely important to give back and remember the legacy of Joey. He lost his life, and he's not forgotten. We're going to remember him forever, and we're going to do that through supporting the foundation and all the training that it does.
The foundation tries to raise money through donations and also the seminar. The seminar is our big fundraiser for the year. We have almost 300 firefighters here today training at the Suffolk County Fire Academy.
So incredibly grateful to be here this weekend at the Joey DiBernardo training weekend. The Memorial Fund has been incredible. Over the years of what they've been doing in Joey D's legacy is mission driven and paying it forward. It's firefighter protection. And the incredible thing about that is that it's done through a training weekend. Bringing all these instructors together and firefighters that come in from all over the country to be a part of this weekend really is all about sharing in the legacy of Joey DiBernardo.
Well, the main thing about the foundation is we get to pay homage to our friend, brother, firefighter, and instructor, Joey D. And it's just top-notch instructors from all around the country coming in, and they're offering their sense of street smarts to firefighters from also all around the country. You have everybody volunteering their time, which is great. And again, we want to pay homage to our friend and our brother, Joey, and we teach from the heart. That's the best.
There's all kinds of training. There's training on search, there's training on rescue, there's training on hose handling, there's training on moving a down fireman. I saw some training being done on giving a down fireman CPR, which I thought was unbelievable. What a great idea. Something I never saw in my career, and I think this is a great idea. There are so many different evolutions going on here, and there's so much going on. It's a great, great seminar.
100% of the proceeds are donated back to fire departments in need. And then the training level that they present is just untouchable. The training that goes on today will save someone's life.
With the foundation giving the PSSs to all the fire departments and all the grants and all the good work that they've done, they're saving lives directly and indirectly. And everybody that's gone through this training over the past couple days, that's being filtered back to their firehouses and to their fire departments, and it's our hope that they continue to save lives, indirectly or directly.
We're pushing guys to the limit with what I feel is like some of the best instructors in the country.
So you have the whole world encompassed in this. It's a great, great, great training venue.
They're giving back to try to save lives, so we don't lose anyone else like we lost on Black Sunday.
So right now, Joey's probably saying, so even though I'm not here, I'm still saving lives. That's what he'd say.
Hey everybody, good morning. This is Rob, National Fire Radio with our Sunday Gospel. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for Affordable Drill Towers, one of National Fire Radio's biggest supporters and sponsors, and also the Joey D Foundation for having us down to Long Island to kind of take part in that weekend. Today, our special guest is Tara Cornett from Flame Decon. Tara has a background in the United States Navy, where she served proudly and she's one of our many proud veterans here in the United States, and also started a company called Flame Decon. And we're going to kind of dive into Tara's gospel today on Decon. So Tara, thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So Tara, talk to me about Flame. I mean, this is something that we've been familiar with, and kind of give me a quick backstory and how you got started here with this idea of this business.
Yeah, for sure. So Flame is a personal decontamination product or products that I developed specifically for firefighter decontamination alongside scientists to make sure that it truly removes the carcinogens and bad odors after a fire call. So yeah, it's shampoo and body wash and a bar of soap made with my proprietary blend of activated charcoal that removes all sizes of toxins, which is really important for you guys when you get off a fire call. So.
And Tara, like, you kind of had an aha moment here because you had started to dive into this community a little bit with a previous business, but it was really close family interest that kind of raised your awareness that there's this cancer and it could affect me because your brother is on the job.
Totally. So I had a small business with my mom, firemom.com, which is small gear and gifts business. And 6 months into it, like I just didn't feel like I was making the difference that I wanted to in the community. Morale is important for families, all that kind of stuff. But I felt like I just wanted to be making more of a difference. So a friend of mine suggested that we change our mission to firefighter wellness. So we did that. And in that process, I was doing research on what products that we should get in and what products, that we had, and realized that this product line was just completely missing. Something that was really, truly developed for Firefighter Decon, personal decontamination post-scene, was not there. Guys were still, using things like Old Spice in the shower to get off contaminants. And that's just not doing the trick. So when I realized that, I dug into the research of it and figured out exactly how to do this. And once I figured out exactly how activated charcoal works, that was my aha moment. That was the just realizing that everything else out there wasn't working properly, even other activated charcoal products. That was the moment that I knew I had to make this a company of its own and an entire line of it. That was the moment that it felt bigger than me. It felt like something that I needed to do to make a difference in the lives of firefighters.
So everybody has that moment where they get an idea, and something Jeremy and I joke about, like we have hundreds of ideas, execution's the big thing. So you execute this idea, but then you get feedback pretty instantaneously on the product from other firefighters and how this is actually going. And like, what was that like?
So when developing the products took over a year. So I was in development and having firefighters test it along the way. But it's still a different story once you're done and actually release it out into the public, out into the
wild
world. It was scary. It was so nerve-wracking because as a veteran in the firefighter community, I know, like, we don't pull punches. There's no bullshit. Like, if firefighters love something, they're going to tell you. If they hate it, they're going to tell you.
Well, and just we had such a huge, I think the fire service from an industry standpoint has really dropped the ball, and it didn't, when it comes to, we took so many steps forward. It's like Paula Abdul, right? We take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. But there were so many things that we did. We recognized cancer. We did decon in the station, gross decon at the fire scene. A lot of departments are getting 2 sets of turnout gear right now. So that's a good thing. And then Clean Cab came along, and it completely, I don't want to say it completely derailed the process, but it was it was not handled correctly. So you have that coming down on this, because now everything that was supposed to be, I thought forward progress, all of a sudden got, really stymied by this clean cab concept, because there's everybody going, clean cabs don't make crabs and everything else. And it really, there was some truth to how extreme the fire service took that.
And I think one thing that did too was, there are so many things out there for decon now that that along with other things just made it overwhelming. There's just too many things to do. There's too many steps to take after you're done with a fire that you're supposed to do for decon. So I think in order for us to make this realistic, in order for us to make this something that people are going to do, we have to take a step back and make it realistic. Look at, just have some common sense about it. I mean, you come out of a fire and you know that you're covered in carcinogens, that your turnouts are covered. all of your gear is covered, and that some of that has gotten through, there's some exposed areas where you're covered. Some of it's gotten through your turnouts to where it's on your body. So take that step back and say, okay, how do we get rid of this? First, how do we leave as many of these carcinogens as we can at the scene, if we can? If you have a way to do gross decon at the scene, let's do that. Let's spray down our gear. Let's get it off. Let's leave as many of them at the scene as we can, right? And then while you're there, I think then you have to go, okay, we're going to leave as many of these at the scene as we can. What's the most important thing, though? What are we trying to, who's getting cancer? It's you. How is that happening? You're breathing in these carcinogens. They're being absorbed through your skin. So the more you can protect your breathing and the faster that you can get those contaminants off your skin is your goal. So when you're doing cleanup, wear your SCBA. I know it sucks, but you're still breathing in stuff. Make sure you're not breathing in these carcinogens. And then use your decon wipes to get those exposed areas. And your next thing should be, how do I get these contaminants off of me? Then you can worry about getting all the clean, getting the apparatus clean, doing all of that. So just take those common sense steps through your mind of protecting your breathing and getting the carcinogens off of you as soon as possible, because our end goal is to make sure that you don't get cancer, and that's how that's going to happen.
And I think what's interesting too is I got the chance to use. I actually have a little product placement push here. So I got the Flame soap, right? But using this at Joey D, because when we were at the Joey D Foundation for the Memorial Training Weekend, they were burning. It was there was a live fire events happening there both days, and it was fantastic. And it really was one of the first times where I can say that I was saturated with. I don't want to say the toxins and make it more dramatic, but just a soot on my hands from taking my gear on and off. I always say your body stains from a fire. And the crazy part for me was coming back to the hotel, using your product, and then realizing that I didn't have my hands weren't black from all the soot. I didn't have that after fire smell that hangs out on my body for days on end. And that was where I was wow, I know Tara had a good product, but this is something that's insane. I've never had this kind of turnaround, that or I just never knew how to take a shower. But at 39 years old, somebody would have, my wife would have said something by now.
Right, she would have. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just kind of, it changed me. It's why I actually ended up getting the Soap of the Month Club, because I wanted to be able to make sure I have this and it's affordable and it's something that I can keep, because I have soap here at the fire, or at home. I have soap at the firehouse, and really it came down to building a kit for myself.
Yeah, that's one huge thing for me from the very beginning was I want to make this natural, to make sure that we're not putting toxins on firefighters as we're removing, but also in that process of building this, make sure it's natural, make sure it works, nothing standing in the way of the activated charcoal working, but also that it's affordable for firefighters. You guys, you aren't making NFL money, you're not making Hollywood money, you know what I mean? I wanted to make sure it was affordable. But I want to back up really quick, because you said you came out with soot all over you, right? Let me get to my little soot one here. So it has a lot of carcinogens in it. I can't pronounce most of them, so I'm not going to read them to you, but
it's ethyl methyl bad stuff is what I always say.
Right. The particle size of soot, though, with all of these different carcinogens in it, is everything from 0.1 to 1,000 microns. And so what that means to me is that takes 3 different types of activated charcoal to remove all of that soot from your skin. That is why I did the background research on my product and made the proprietary blend of several different activated charcoals that remove different sizes of toxins. Or if you only use one type of activated charcoal, you're only removing one size of toxin, leaving a lot of that soot on your skin to be absorbed. So
Yeah.
just a little background on it.
Yeah, and there's some people in the comments. One of them, James Denny. I know Denny was with us at Alamo Area Fools for the spring fling that they do every year down in Texas in San Marcos. And we had bought down a package of samples that you were happy to provide us. And he's commenting on how good this works. And that's one of the things we said we can't comment enough about, is that this is a good product because it's really like it's not just one. There's like 3 levels of protection here, as you just kind of pointed out, is what it's doing. So what are the products that Flame has? I have the bar soap, but there's others.
For sure. So I've got the bar soap, the shampoo and body wash. Those are really the 2 main staple Decon products. I wanted to keep it simple. If you prefer shampoo and body wash, go that route. If you prefer bar soap, go that route. I do the Soap of the Month Club, which has different scents, but it's still the same soap. It's still the same Decon soap with the same proprietary blend activated charcoal to remove all of those toxins. Right now for Christmas, I did 6 different scents because Christmas, and why not? But then with that, I have different shower accessories, body scrubber, loofah, different shower accessories. I had some people asking for a shave soap, so I made a shave soap, and those who've used it so far love it. So I don't think the shave soap is going away, but it's another add-on because it was requested. The 2 main staple Decon products are that bar soap and the shampoo and body wash.
And it's very important that we emphasize on this as that there are many scents available. So like I know our friend Bill out in the Pacific Northwest, he's always has a hard time comprehending scents, but we have to remind him of his sense of smell.
Let me tell you a little story. So September rolled around, and for September we did the design was 1100 for the 1100 firefighters who have fought 9/11 related cancer since 9/11. And the scent that month was lemon, because that's one of the essential oils that cancer centers will use to help with nausea, that kind of stuff for people going through chemo. So made that tie there, made the scent lemon, used lemon essential oils to make the scent. I had no less than 7 people, 7, reach out to me and tell me that it also tastes like lemon.
And one of them was our friend Billy.
Yes.
And I don't really know where to go with that one, because I just never was like, I should eat this soap.
They were so excited that it tasted like lemon that they didn't even think for a second they shouldn't be eating the soap. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah. So what else about this, like for you, like what have you learned in this journey as far as like, from the human side of things, with going down towards like learning about firefighter cancer, learning about the I don't want to say like that it's not this gets emotional fast, right? This kind of like you don't get into this side of the business and not get hit with a wall of emotion, or run into it. Like, so like what is that process and this been like for you?
I mean, I've dealt with a lot of loss in my life, and we want, if we can prevent loss, let's prevent loss. I mean, my brother and I lost our dad young. I was 25, he was 21, and my brother now has a family of his own. And like, my brother, if I have anything to say about it, will live to see his kids get married, and he'll have grandkids and all those things that my dad didn't get to do, that we didn't get to experience with him. And I want that for all of you. I think that's so important. And I think it's so important because We see 30-year-olds in the fire service getting cancer all the time. We see 30-year-olds in the fire service getting cancer and dying. It's important to realize that it can happen to you, that this is not something that's happening to guys once they're retiring. It's not something that, you have to be doing it for 20 years for it to happen. This can happen a few years into the fire service. You guys are exposed to this stuff and it can happen to you. And I think it's really important to realize that and take inventory of what that means to you and how it would impact your life, how it would impact your loved ones, and how you can prevent it.
100%. And then there's been firefighters who have had minor scares with cancer, but it's still a cancer scare. And I think for myself, I know one of the biggest fears I have is that doctor coming in and closing the door and uttering the words cancer out of his mouth. But even for the ones who went through a minor cancer scare or something that was relatively easily treatable, it changes them. It changes you. It changes your outlook on life. And that's why I think it's so important to have you on the gospel today, because like, be it your product, somebody else's product, we need to get the word out about how this affects people, because it is about people. And these are the steps that we can all do. And the one thing that I kind of thought one day was that, after a fire, I typically take a shower anyway. So why not get, a product that's going to help me out and further that cause. So, of getting that, because I've lost too many friends. I've lost too many family members to cancers. And I know that like I've signed up for this job and I'm putting myself into the harm's way because we're there for them. But I can also be here after the fact and start doing the self-care on myself to make sure that I, remove as much of the risk as possible from cancer.
Absolutely. And you're right. That's one of my things is it's as simple as trading out the product that you're already using for a product that was meant for decontamination. It's so important.
What's the, like for, as far as like Flame Decon, the journey where you've gotten here, like you're very active in the community. And it's one of the things that we always talk about with National Fire Radio is like being active in the community of the fire service. You've kind of, you had no, I don't want to say no true fire background, but you've, with the exception actually of the Navy, because everybody in the Navy becomes a damage controlman at some point, especially if you're on a boat. But like for you, like what's the proudest moment that you've had so far, or is there highlights of this journey that you've had where you're like, yeah, all right, cool, like we're on to something, we're doing great things here?
It's a lot of little moments. I mean, every time I get, a review from somebody, thank you for this product. I got into bed, my wife can't smell the awfulness on me, or just people who do realize what this is for. It's gonna be a long time before we truly see the results of it. Because the deal is that like, you'll never know if this worked for you because you won't get cancer.
Right.
In my lifetime, if I can see the rates of firefighter cancer go down, I'll accomplish something.
100. I'm just like, do you know off the top of your head how many job-related cancer diagnoses there are in our industry?
I don't. I know the percentage is 9% more likely to be diagnosed with cancer than the civilian population, 14% more likely to die from cancer than the regular population. But I don't know the exact numbers.
I know that just a quick Google took me up to, and this one I did know, we have a significant increase in rectal, prostate, bladder, testicular cancers, mesothelioma, and malignant melanoma, which a lot of melanoma is what I've personally seen in contact areas as well. Like I call it contact area as far as where
colon cancer, liver cancer, brain cancer, skin cancer, leukemia as well. I think we're on there. Yeah.
So how it took you a year to develop Flame. So like how long has Flame Decon as the business been out here in the market putting the stuff into the hands of firefighters?
So I launched with selling the soap in August of 2020 and started selling the shampoo and body wash for pre-sale in October 2020. It started shipping in January of this year.
Okay. And we have the bar soap, and then you talked about the shampoo and body wash. Let's talk about that real quick, because I think it's because there's also the products that you have that you like I say, like to support, the accessories to kind of go along with it. So like you have loofahs and like body scrubbers and stuff. Like what's the importance of this as it kind of comes along with the product?
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
So like, well, let's start with the body wash and the shampoo. Why did you use the body wash and shampoo versus just the bar soap?
Honestly, it's a personal preference, whichever you prefer. I mean, if you have hair, you should probably use the shampoo and body wash so that you can properly get that clean. I have had people use the bar of soap as a shampoo bar as well, though, and that works perfectly fine. They both have the same activated charcoal, blend of activated charcoal in them. They're both going to work properly to remove those carcinogens. So it's personal preference.
And then as far as I'm blanking here in a second.
One thing you do want to make sure that you do, though, is that, when you're in the shower, don't just clean the important parts. Make sure you're cleaning your entire body. And if you can, use a loofah, use a body scrubber, something like that. That's going to give you a little extra exfoliation with that as well. And then another thing is that a lot of people don't think of, but you are, not only days that you have a fire call, but you're working around the station regularly. You're handling things that have carcinogens on them. When you go in to use the restroom, wash your hands before you use the restroom so that you're not transferring those carcinogens into your body that way. It's really important to do that because it's been shown that carcinogens are throughout the station, including, sleeping rooms, kitchen areas, those kind of things. So kind of keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking for, like with the loofah and the body scrubber, the exfoliation, because that's really kind of how our bodies react from being superheated in the middle of a fire and everything else to now we come out, we strip off our gear, we cool down. We can't really put we can put a very good picture in our head of how porous our skin is, how much it absorbs, and then using those other products to kind of help, get all of this stuff out with the soap. So just kind of a big thing.
And if you're one of those people that likes to go sit in a sauna after a shower, I've actually talked with the PR person from one of these sauna companies that provide saunas for firefighters before. And their protocol is actually to shower after the fire call before going in that shower. And they were very interested in working with Flame because they know the impact of making sure that you remove as many carcinogens as possible off of your skin before you open those pores back up to then, sweat out whatever has gotten in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all, like I said, this has been for myself, a year ago, no clue, just was happy that we were doing gross decon at the scene, and we kind of, even like, the wipes, right? Like fire wipes or other ones that are out there. And are you working out on like any partnerships with any of the other companies that are out there as far as delivering? Because I think it's all a package that comes together, and that's one thing we don't talk about very much.
Yeah, I've been working on some things. I have worked with Fire Wipes in the past. I love working with them. I love their product, and we're working on some things coming up. So yeah.
Yeah, and so I know for myself, like, and this is where I think too, like, I look at it as like a tiered level of protection, or like a tiered response, as we have like in the fire service. When I'm volunteering, I have, I think it's North Rescue or North American Rescue. No, True North. Sorry, it's True North. They have a bag for my turnout gear that is, that is cancer blocking, as far as like it won't let the carcinogens leach out. So if I go in my personal vehicle to a fire scene, get my gear out of the trunk, put it on, after the fire, in my gear bag is this bag from True North to encompass all of the turnout gear with the carcinogens. And then underneath that is a small bag. I have fire wipes. I've got Flame Decon soap. I've got the single use packets. And I think this is where like single use packets and all this stuff kind of comes together, because if I come home and I get home, it's almost like the early days of COVID, where we were stripping off coming home from work, and then so that way we didn't bring anything in the house. But the clothing, I can strip off the clothing, I can get it in the wash pretty quickly, and then I have that single use packet in my hands so that I can immediately get in the shower and start getting this stuff off. And along with the fire wipes and stuff on scene. So it's always, I try to look at it as just kind of consistently building layers to protect myself. And I don't have kids, but I got the dogs. Like, I don't want the dogs like sniffing around the car and getting all this stuff on them.
No.
And it's a simple, like even something as simple as grabbing a spare sheet from the hospital and putting it over your cloth seat. So when you're sitting down, you're not, there's a barrier in between your vehicle. And I know some people will say like, hey, this is crazy. Watch somebody die of cancer. Like watch them go through the chemo, watch your body get eaten away, and ask yourself, is it crazy then? Do you want your family to go through this?
Right. Exactly. And I think there's two important things that you touched on there. Is one, you have all of this in a kit. You have your routine for decon. I think that's important. Establish a routine for decon, and then you have your routine that you go through. You've got your few little packets that you go through. You've got your storage bag that you store stuff in to make sure you're not bringing it in the house. And then you have your routine to make sure that you're getting it done and getting it done right every time. But also, like you touched on, make sure that gear doesn't go in the living quarters at the firehouse, in your personal vehicle, in your home. If you can avoid bringing it home at all, do that. I actually want to touch on something, because I feel like this is happening a lot more often than I realized. Well, there's a bunch of deer outside. They're like right here. Anyway, all of a sudden I was like, what's moving? Sorry, squirrel, deer. But it's happening a lot more often than I realized. Because I saw this post on Facebook once. It was a firefighter was retiring. His wife had gotten his turnout gear, wanted to, put it in a shadow box, that kind of stuff. And she was asking the community, how should I have this cleaned? And so many suggestions were to take it to the laundromat. I think it's so important that we realize, one, you don't do this laundry at home because you don't contaminate your family.
Right.
Make sure that you're doing it, if you can, in an extractor at the station, because an extractor is going to do a much better job than a regular washing machine. But also, don't ever take it out into your community and do it at the laundromat. You're not doing it at home because you don't want to contaminate your family. You're not doing it out in the community because you're there to protect the community. You're not there to harm them and put carcinogens in their laundry. I think it's really, really important to spread that message, because it was such a prominent answer. There's so many people that think it's okay to do that, and it's not okay.
Yeah, there's a reason there's specific gear washing machines and extractors for us in the fire service for building standards around them. So, I mean, a laundromat is not the place to be bringing this stuff. In fact, if you read some of the rules that are on that, there's always a list of rules in the laundromat, and like you start looking at that stuff that's on the list of things that shouldn't be going in the washer, we kind of check mark all of those items with the fire service. I don't know if I touched on this in the beginning when we started talking, but like, what are some of the things that people are getting wrong with decon that you see?
Just not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing it, because And I just assume because there's so many things to do that it's overwhelming, or because, for lack of a better term, they get lazy when they come out of a fire. I have people tell me all the time, yeah, we have decon wipes on our rig, but I don't use them. Why? I mean, not why are they there? Why don't you use them?
Right.
One, it's going to feel great to wipe down and get that crap off of you afterwards. Like, that's going to feel really good. But yeah, use your resources available. It's like you said, you have a routine, establish your own routine and do it, just so that it's routine. Then it doesn't feel overwhelming. It's not a ton of things that you have to do. Yes, there are some things that you're going to have to do afterwards, but you get done with a fire, you wipe, rinse down, wipe down, go take your shower, store your gear properly. That's your routine. And then you have all of the standards that you have to meet when it comes to cleaning and maintenance and all of those things of your gear. Those are different steps, and those are done at a different time or afterwards. But prioritize yourself and prioritize making sure that you're getting clean.
I think it's funny, Tara, because we can talk about it, and Tara and I are part of a clubhouse group that talks pretty regularly, so we can sometimes get on a bandwagon of beating up NFPA because of how NFPA sometimes is made up of between manufacturers and firefighters and the ratios of that. But like, this is an area that where if we don't actively, the senior guys, the leadership of our departments don't take an active role in instituting some of these cancer prevention methods, and whether it be the soaps, it's the wipe, the gross decon, the wipe down, and the cleaning up. Like, this is all, we're not saying that you, like we said, you should be doing all of these, but we understand that you can't always do everyone in the exact order. But even if you're just doing, 2 out of 3, we're wiping down, we're rinsing down, and then you catch another run, and that's awesome. But like, if we don't do this, like, and this stuff keeps getting out of control, we're gonna have to, like, they're gonna start making standards for us, and we know what that looks like because we saw them make a standard. We saw them push the industry to make something, and then we really had a hard time with that industry coming out, and that, clean calves being a prime example. Like, the launch was horrible, and we lost all the information. So it's up to us to really start putting forward the effort. And you're right. Like, we have the wipes on the trucks, but how many times do guys use them, or do they forget that they're there? Why do they forget they're there? Where are they stored? Are they in a visible spot? I know, Tucker talks about it from first to fabrication, inboard versus outboard. Well, the wipes on our fire apparatus, especially on a rescue engine, are in the back of a compartment, so it's not anywhere. They're not inconvenient, but they're not convenient to get to. So it's just all kind of goes into that different mindset of that. So
yeah, that is interesting. Definitely be better if they were just accessible to grab as you're, hopping in to go back or something. I mean,
Yeah, and also I think too, we don't talk enough about how to actually properly use this stuff. Like, the wipes, like, you can use a lot of wipes. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not. This isn't like toilet paper at the beginning of COVID-19 where we're not going to be able to get more. Like,
right.
Like, this is something that we can, like, we want you to use a lot of this. Like, we want you to use 1 or 2 to 3 to 4 wipes as you're, especially if you were, doing your job and you were at the tip of the spear. We want you to be wiping down as much as you can.
Right. Use what you need to use to get the toxins off of you. Or you're just defeating the purpose. You're defeating why they're there. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've been going for about 40 minutes now, and like, I like to keep the gospel kind of short because nobody wants to stay in church too long. What do you have coming up? Where can people find you? Like, what else? Is there anything else you want to, you plug or anything like that before we wrap up for today?
Let me see if there was any.
I know we have the discount code if you do NFR 15 on your first order.
Yeah,
Been gracious enough to do a 15% discount code for us
for sure
today.
Yep, use that. That's good. anytime for 15% off of the first time that you use that code. You can find me at both Facebook and Instagram or at Flame Decon. Have any questions, email me at tara@flamedecon.com. Yeah.
And for those of you who are in the Northeast, Flame Decon is going to be making a live appearance come March at Taking It to the Streets with Eckert Fire Tactics in Westchester County down in Pennsylvania. So that's going to be, it's right outside of Philadelphia. I know I'm looking forward to seeing Tara there. We have a good thing with that, surprise for Tara is that she's agreed to let us take her inside the building and kind of experience what we experienced, so she can get that first world view. And quite honestly, that's I'm excited for that, because there's not often where we see people who are part of the manufacturing side of the community or on the industry side of it actually want to come in and get the experience and see what it is that we're actually dealing with, instead of just designing things and being like, yeah, you'll make it work. You're coming in with us. This is going to be a good time. So
yeah, you guys are my family. This is not just a business to me. You guys are my family. So I appreciate the opportunity here today and there, all the opportunities you guys give me and for embracing me and Flame. So thank you.
Yeah. And for anybody out there looking for last minute Christmas ideas, Flame Decon is the way to go. Was there anything else that I feel like there was one other thing we're missing, and we're going to get off the stream here, and we're going to be like, we forgot this, but like I said, So, well, Tara, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you being part of the show. I know the gospel is a new thing. We're trying to get it out on Sundays. We decided to do a live stream today because we had a little conversation beforehand. But thank you for being here. Everybody, thank you for joining myself, Rob, National Fire Radio, Tara Cornett with Flame Decon, and the gospel. Everybody have a safe Sunday and have a great week, and Merry Christmas for everybody out there. Talk to you guys later.
Christmas.